Hi, Sarah here. Oh dear, it's not working. Okay. So, I'm thank you as well. Can I get a thumbs up if you're seeing my screen? You're seeing my screen? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, I would like, thank you, Luther. Oh, there's another thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you, Rosemere. I want to thank the Northern Jury Art Show as well for this wonderful opportunity to be a juror this year for the show. Um, I was disappointed that we couldn't come up to the Paw last year. I've never been up there before. I've been in different parts in northern Manitoba, and I think that everybody in Canada should experience the North at some time in their life because it is such an important part of our country. So I'm just going to spend 10 to 15 minutes now talking a little bit about my work. I have been an artist for the past 30 plus years, and I generally work mostly with photography. So one of the things that I definitely noticed in the works that we were looking at was that there were a lot of people who had also responded to the landscape in the works that they submitted to the Northern Juried Art Show, and so I thought that's what I would do is talk a little bit about how I've responded to the landscape and to specifically to place, and so where I live and where I grew up and where I travel to in works that I've made over about the past 10 years. Mm. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, sorry, having a little technical glitch. Um, so I am a photographic artist. I do like to work with alternative methods. Some of the two of the methods that I'm going to show works that I made. Two of the methods that I used to make the works that I'm showing tonight are pinhole photography and then lumen printing. I'm kind of focusing mostly on the pinhole photography, and I thought I'd just briefly show a few slides of a few of my pinhole cameras so that you have an idea of what I'm making my photographs in. So all of these tin cans that you see on the shelf are actually pinhole cameras, tins that I've turned into pinhole cameras. I'll just quickly show you. This is the exterior of a camera. This would be the shutter that allows the light to not get through, and then once we open the shutter, there's a very small pinhole in the middle of this little piece of metal that you can't see, but that is where the light enters into the camera. And then this is the inside of the camera, which is simply spray painted black and a little bit of double-sided tape so that the film that I put inside will stay against the back. And this is what the inside of the pinhole looks like. I make a variety of cameras, and I tend to make new cameras every time I do a new body of work with pinhole. And I make cameras based on different things that I hope to see or imagine I might see, although I usually see things very differently than what I imagine I might see. This camera, again, you can see when you pull the shutter aside, there's the pinhole and there's the inside. This camera has a curved film plane as opposed to the last one, which has a flat film plane, and that will change the way that the photograph looks. So moving on now to some photographs that I thought I'd share with you tonight. This first body of work is called Surveillance, and these are all pinhole photographs taken at nighttime around my neighborhood in Winnipeg. So these were all these exposures are taken in the dark. I would put cameras out in the winter time, sometime between 7 and 9 p.m. So definitely dark by then. And then I would get up at 3 or 4 in the morning and go back out into my neighborhood and collect the cameras that I left. So I just open the pinhole and leave it exposing for 8 hours. One of the things, there was a moment, a little event that happened as I was just starting to explore pinhole photography in 2009 that prompted this work. And what it was a test. I made a pinhole camera and put it in my backyard. This happens to be my backyard right here. And we have one of those large fences, similar to the one across the alley here, where the whole fence slides open for our car to drive in. So I put a pinhole camera out to test my exposure, and I put it out around 9 p.m. and brought it in at about 2 a.m. And when I went out to bring the camera in, I noticed that someone had cut through our yard. So someone had slid open our fence by maybe a foot or two and walked through the yard. And this is a frequent happening where I live in Winnipeg. And it struck me that it was kind of an interesting contradiction, because I had this camera sitting out facing the direction that the person would have had to have walked by, but they would not show up on the film because they're moving much too quickly for a slow exposure to capture them unless they happen to be carrying lights with them. So that got me thinking about this notion of um, these kind of failed surveillance devices, that I could put these cameras out all over my neighborhood to record the goings on, but you don't really see the goings on. I think you see the energy of the goings on, such as in this piece. So I would just walking home from work every day, I would think about different things that I saw on my path in my neighborhood and think about the things I wanted to point my pinhole cameras at night. For instance, this one here, someone on my street was creating a whole group of snow people out in front of their yard, and I found that quite fascinating. So that night I put two pinhole cameras out, one facing from across the street, which captured the flow of cars going by, and another one pointing at the I buried it halfway into a snowbank, so that's why the snow is kind of banked up around the foreground of the photograph. So this was a really exciting project for me to do. I never knew what was going to be on the film when I got it back from the developer. For instance, this night, the snow plows came and cleared the snow out of the schoolyard that is across the corner from us. And you can see that the snow plow actually picked up the pinhole camera and moved it, because we have two horizons, two houses here, two of everything. So that was quite exciting.